side mount diving is your thing, then let me take you into the detail of the Liberty Sidemount unit. Let's dive into it. Hello and welcome to the 15th episode of CCR Liberty in Detail. Let's talk side mount today. So what we're going to be talking about today is the philosophy behind the design of the side mount unit. We're also going to have a look at all the quirks and features. And at the end, I'm going to show you just quickly a sped up way of how you put the unit together. So what we're going to start with is that we're going to have a look at the philosophy and how it's reflected in its design. So the side mount unit and also all the other back mount units have been designed with a work of breathing performance in mind first. The next thing would be keeping the unit's weight down while maintaining its reliability and durability, and that in the harshest conditions. Also, the unit would have to have a sleek design and to be neutral in the water, and also to be as compact as possible. All the safety elements of the Liberty platform would have to be ensured, and the unit would have to be easy to be maintained and assembled. All the gas would have to be on board, so the unit would be fully independent without any need to offboard gas. The unit would have to be using the same head as the back mount unit, allowing the diver to benefit from all the features and functions of the back mount unit as well, and at the same time to be convertible into back mount unit or vice versa. All those features make the unit a perfect tool to be used when dived in very tight restrictions and applications such as cave diving, wreck diving, or in all the cases when the diver prefers not having the unit on his back. Traveling with the side mount unit is much easier due to its light weight, and its size is also beneficial when the unit is used as a bailout rebreather. We'll now go over the unit's body, and I'll show you what components we have and how it can be configured. So let's start from the back, and we're gonna make our way forward looking at all the individual parts. As you can see, the unit is quite tightly packed together, and it's a very compact piece of awesomeness. But don't worry, there is everything that the rebreather needs for operating, and everything's there. So, and actually when you look at its size, it's as compact as an 80 cubic foot cylinder, which I'm going to show you in a second. So let's have a look at it. So I've already shown you in our episode about bailout rebreathers, but I think it's pretty cool, so I'm gonna show you again. So that's our side mount unit. I've got the short can on it, and this is a 80 cubic foot cylinder. So if you have a look at the size, they're not that much different. There's just the side mount's slightly longer, but that's about it. So I think that's pretty cool. This makes the unit a perfect bailout rebreather. The bailout rebreathers are a hot topic now, so in case you haven't seen our episode about bailout rebreathers, be sure to check it out. The fact that the unit has all the gas on board and is fully independent actually means that in the case of critical emergency, you can actually donate the whole unit to somebody if you needed to. The unit is attached to you as a standard bailout or a stage cylinder. So we have two bolt snaps and a mouthpiece, and it just clips to your gear. So it also makes it way easier to clip the unit on the boat, or if you are used to clipping the unit on in the water, depending on the conditions. But yeah, everything nice and easy. In this configuration, we're looking at 19.2 kilos of dry weight for the unit, and ready to dive, we're looking at just tad below 23 kilos. If you can source your cylinders at the destination that you're traveling to, then you don't have to travel without them, and then you're looking at weight 12.9 kilos, so just below 13 kilos. So it's quite nice and easy to travel with. Okay, so let's check the individual parts out. So everything is built on our titanium frame. Titanium is very strong, but also very light, so that's why we use that. In this section here, this is our head. So our head contains all the electronic components operating the rebreather. And in this section, here we have our scrubber. The scrubber scrubs off the carbon dioxide, and we use a radial type of scrubber. When converting from back mount unit to side mount unit, you can, in most of the cases, use your scrubber as well to convert into this configuration. Over here on the scrubber, you can see one of our handles, and our other carry handle is here on the front, so you can easily carry your unit around using the handles. Now let's check out what scrubbers are suitable for the side mount. So you will most commonly see our short can and the standard can. They both hold 2.5 kilos of sorb, and they are good for between 4 to 6 hours of runtime. So you may be wondering, how much longer will my unit be if I'll use standard can instead of the short can? Well, let's have a look at it. So I've got the unit here with the short can. Okay, so our hands are there. And I've got this one with the standard canister. So I was going to move the handset. So this is the size comparison. So as you can see, the one with the standard scrubber canister is just not that much longer, just about this much. The short scrubber is more compact as it does not have a water trap in it. What you will find inside instead is the sponge for absorbing of any moisture. The short scrubber has a slightly better buoyancy characteristics in a salt water. In a fresh water, you will find it touch negative on the end. If your gear is set right, you'll barely notice it. You will feel a bit of a difference if you unclip the unit and actually move it forward in front of yourself, then you will feel a difference in fresh water. The standard scrubber is a little bit more suitable for fresh water due to its air pocket in the water trap. It's also a little bit longer, but as I mentioned earlier, the capacity of the scrubber is exactly the same. The water trap is inside there. But again, not a drama when you're using either one of those scrubbers in either whether it's salt water or fresh water. You will find the standard scrubber a little bit buoyant, just a tad buoyant on the end in the salt water. Now we're just very quickly going to have a look at our head. We had a whole third episode about the Liberty's head, so I'm not going to get into much detail of that, but what I wanted to mention in this case here is our oxygen inlets. So all the heads come with a exchangeable oxygen inlet. So you can either choose whether you would like to have your head with an axial O2 feed or banjo. This is axial and this is banjo. Here you can see the difference between them. The axial is more tucked inside and it's a little bit more protected within the frame of the unit. The banjo comes out a little bit. It's not a big drama, but some people do prefer having it inside. When you're using the axial oxygen inlet, and if you were converting to back mount unit, then you need to change to banjo. If you are running the unit with your banjo O2 inlet, then you can convert into back mount unit straight away. Either way, you can change this yourself, it's not a drama. For my head, we have two S pieces heading into our counterlungs. In this Cordura housing, we have two counterlungs, inhale and exhale counterlung, and they have a total volume of 6 liters. The exhale lung is equipped with low profile overpressure valve, and inside this counterlung we also have a water trap. The location of the counterlungs here make them as close to your lungs as they can be on a side mount unit, ensuring a great work of breathing performance of the unit. Underneath the counterlungs, we have both our cylinders. We have 2 liter cylinders. We have our oxygen cylinder on the right and our diluent cylinder on our left-hand side. The cylinders being on the front ensure a proper weight distribution throughout the unit. So we have the heavy cylinders on the front and we got a scrubber on the back and head sort of in the middle, so that ensures that the unit is nicely balanced in the water. Our valves are both very easy to access, as we have them right here, so we can very easily reach them. And the shape of the wheel prevents from accidental roll-offs. For the first stage regulators, we're using Apex Flights. They're simple, reliable, easy to service, and they have a great performance. They're also very light, so it helps with the weight saving of the unit. Now moving on to our loop. Our loop starts with our ADV that comes out directly from our lung. It's a membrane ADV, so it can also be activated by pressing the top of the ADV itself. And also we have a shut-off valve on this particular unit. So this particular ADV can be shut off by pulling the lever on the shut-off, disabling the ADV. The units do not come standard with this feature. It's for the reason, it's basically for safety. If the unit is used as a bailout rebreather and the ADV is accidentally shut off, then it may cause issues. So the units don't come with a shut-off valve in a standard configuration. It can be chosen in our configurator in case you would like to get one and you are aware of its function. Next, moving up towards the top of the loop, you can see our SPGs showing the pressure in our cylinders. And then when we move all the way up, we get to our DSV, dive surface valve. That's either in closed position or in open position. So now it's in closed circuit mode. Here are our MAVs, our manual addition valves. And up here on the top is our head-up display. Our head-up display is slid in the rail. And the side mount unit actually has a longer head-up display than the back mount unit because the length is it's a little bit longer. If you're converting from back mount unit to side mount unit, then you need to be using the longer head-up cable. If you're getting a conversion kit to side mount unit, it comes with it, so it's a part of the conversion kit. If you're converting from side mount unit to back mount unit, the extra length doesn't matter. You just wrap it once or twice more over the loop hose and it's okay. So they can be used without any issues. So that's no problems at all. So our manual addition valves, as I mentioned earlier, are located here. They're located conveniently, like similarly when using back mounted counterlungs configuration of a back mount unit near your mouth. So if you can find your mouth, you can find your manual addition valves. So they are right here. And you may be asking yourself, well, what if the 2-liter cylinders aren't big enough for me? Is there a way to offboard gas for myself? Yes, there is. We actually have 2 different ways of how you can offboard gas and get additional gas into the unit if need be. So let's start with the first one. So the first option for you to offboard gas is to get a quick disconnect connector straight to your MAVs. And then you can just easily plug in any offboard gas that you need to. So the second option that you can go for is to go directly into your first stages through Swagelog QC6 or a similar type of connection and offboard your gas through there. So these are your 2 options that you can choose from. Okay, so let's get into the quick assembly. Just please note, this will be a sped up assembly video. We're gonna deliberately skip some steps just for the sake of making this quicker and for you to see how the parts fit into each other. Please note this is not an instructional video on how to put the unit together step by step. If you are assembling the unit, follow your checklist, complete all the steps and checks necessary to fully complete the setup for the unit to be ready to be dived. So if you would like some additional help, you can also use our app. The app is super easy to be used. It's got a watchdog for O2 cells, for their lifespan, for oxygen calibration, and it's really cool to use and makes the process of assembling the unit nice and easy. So you can use that. So let's get into it. Here we have our frame. with our cylinders already in it. You can actually see the hose routing here. It's sort of looped around, so the hoses have a little bit of a flexibility to move up and down because the loop is flexible as well, so they can move up and down. And our cylinders are attached in the frame with the straps. Once you put the unit together, you don't actually really need to take the cylinders out. You can just analyze them by taking the first stages off. But this is all entirely up to you. So we have that. And the next thing that we're going to do, how we're going to start assembling the unit, is going to be attaching our head to the scrubber. So I don't know if you watched our previous video, the principle is exactly the same. It's the same head. So we are going to place our two locks together, push down on the head, and those two are connected. To get these two opened, you put this part on a flat surface, push down on it, and those parts will separate. So then you can access your scrubber for refilling and your head for drying it out or for any maintenance that's necessary. So when our head and our scrubber canister are connected together, we are going to attach our S pieces. The S pieces are clearly marked, H for head, C for counterlung, same marking on both. One's for center, one's for the rim, and we're gonna put those in first. They have a different number of tabs, so they cannot be exchanged, similar as what we have on our back mount unit. So first of all, I'm gonna connect my inhale side, so head center. We're gonna line up the markings. So I'm gonna place it in its spot. Same here. So we've got a head rim. This one's got 3 tabs. So we're putting it into the opening with 3 cut-ins. And our S pieces are in. Now we're going to place this whole lot into our frame. As you can see, our locking mechanism here, we have 2 spikes that basically slide into these cut-ins, holding this whole lot together. So I'm going to place these in, and before I do that, I'm actually going to hook up my oxygen hose to the oxygen inlet on my head. So our oxygen is hooked up. Now I'm going to place these 2 into the frame and make sure they fall into the spikes all the way. Now I'm gonna tighten the straps. So this is all done. Now we're going to run our head-up display and our handset through the middle, where all the hosing is. Also, obviously, in a real-life scenario, you're following your checklist, your scrubber is full, or has a sufficient time left on it, your cylinders are full and analyzed. So the next thing that we're going to do is that I'm going to attach our counterlungs. So our counterlungs have orifices that are turned in a certain way so they can't basically undo themselves underwater. So that's why I'm going to be putting the counterlung on in a particular way. So what I'm going to start with is that I'm gonna attach the inhale counterlung first. So we're just gonna line up the markers again. Nice and easy. Rotate. I'm gonna twist the lung over a little bit to be able to line up our markers here as well. And it's locked and we're done here. The next thing that we got to do is we're just going to clip our counterlung on. And now I'm going to be attaching our loop. So the same thing here. I am going to line our markers up, rotate it locks itself in place. Same thing here. Push, twist, and we're locked in. Now we just gotta do up our hosing, put our head-up display in place. We've got bungees ready here for it, so to keep everything nice and tidy. And once that's all done, your unit is assembled. And that is all for our today's episode. I hope that you found it informative and I was able to provide you with the information that you were looking for. And if you would like to get more information, please visit our webpage at divesoft.com or email us at info@divesoft.com. Also, don't forget to follow our social networks. And if you would like to try one of our units, please contact one of our instructors and organize a demo dive with them. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in our next episode.